Hi, welcome to Realm of the Sacred Roots. I wanted to talk to you guys today about how to spiritually block access to your enemies. And I kind of had a subtitle that goes with it: How to Proactively Eliminate Spiritual Attacks. I decided to do this video today because I talked to a friend of mine the other day, and she has a friend who, and I say friend, who was psychically attacking her. And there's some debate whether, let's say, the friend knew she was doing this on purpose or not, because sometimes that can happen where somebody doesn't necessarily, they're not consciously aware that they are attacking another. Sometimes the emotion of jealousy can actually spawn an attack without I say the host, without the person actually knowing what's happening. So there are there are a few examples or instances, but in this case, um, whether the person knew that they were attacking her or not, the point is that my friend was being attacked. And so we have to shut that down. Whether or not the person was aware that they were doing this or not, we still need a way to protect ourselves. So that's what um, basically made me create this video tonight. And it reminded me of another story about when I used to go to psychics all the time. And for a few different reasons. One, I wanted to know what they knew, what they saw about me, because I was curious. I didn't know. And I was going through this phase of I went to all of them if I thought they were legit. If I felt like they had any oomph to them, I wanted to know what they knew about me because I was still discovering myself and learning. And we're always learning about ourselves. But even friends of mine that were in the magic community would say, like, why do you do that? We don't do that. We don't just like hop around to all these different psychics. But I also learned that um, you can be attacked by some of these people because whether it's jealousy, whether they see something and don't want to tell you, or just whatever. Some people like to try to steal and take energy. So whatever the purpose was for them, I learned the hard way, and I threw myself into it, and I learned this way how to defend, how to protect myself. A few times it turned into an offensive where I went after somebody who um, tried to attack me. But for the most part, it was just me putting up defenses so that they couldn't get in. So this is how I started to learn. And I started to learn from other people and knowing what they used. So I made a list, and this is partially the list that I gave to my friend about how to strengthen her defenses and not be attacked. I'm not saying that because I have been attacked in the past, but it's been a long time since I've had an attack. I'm not saying that it could not happen again, because we're not always on our best all the time. But it would be a rare occurrence. It's been many years. And it's not that I haven't been out in the community, because I have, but it's because I use a layered approach, and it's because I know who I am. And there are quite a few other things that when you start to layer and you start to add them up, you'll realize that you won't be attacked, period. And that's just how I see it. So let's start off with a list I made. Basically, what I told her was shut your doors, shut your windows, and I mean spiritually, and any other secret places or portals that you might have open that this other person that's attacking you or your enemy might have a way to get in. Now, we're assuming this person knows you, meaning either you guys were friends previously. It doesn't have to be, but we'll just go ahead and use that example. So lock down anything that you believe they know that you might have open, especially if they were friends of yours who know your stuff, right? So make sure you close down any portals, any kind of doorways that you might have open that they know about, that they can travel between. You want to cut access off to this person, especially if you're having dreams, if things in your life are going to shit, if things start to not add up and you're wondering where is all this coming from. You have to find the source. And in this case, we've assumed that we've identified the source. It's this person, and this is now how you're going to shut down. So shut down your windows, shut down your doors, and any other place that you might have open that they have access to. What I say is open back up slowly as you see fit, and only allow those that you state that can come into your space. You allow them into your space. Anyone else is not allowed in your space, and I'll tell you how to do that in a minute. So that's basically the next thing when you open back up. One time I don't remember what it was. I think I was seeing a lot. Uh, I think it was a lot of just the deceased. It was the dead. And every time I'd wake up in the morning, there would be somebody standing by my bed. And I don't mind, and I didn't mind, but I think it was just too much at the time. Every time I turn around, I'd see another person, another dead spirit, another soul. And or I'd sit and watch TV, and there'd be a kid, one that's passed, standing there wanting me to help with something, and it was just a lot, and it was constant. And so I wanted to shut everything down so it could be quiet. So what I did was I put wards up on my house, and so that way I only allowed in who I wanted in. So I shut it down, and everything was shut out. It was extremely quiet. It was almost too quiet. I wasn't used to that type of quietness. And I didn't feel bad for locking them out. I think I'm so used to having them here all the time with me that it did seem a little eerie that it was so quiet. So be prepared for that if you do lock everything out and down. Um, but you can choose which spirits you allow in. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a second. Be guarded with your personal information. If you have friends that are just nosy and they ask questions and you know that's who they are and you're not threatened by them, okay, no big deal. If you actually think this person is throwing attacks at you or throwing shade at you, be careful with your personal information, because they could be searching for feedback, right? Is what we call it. So if you threw something out there, if they threw something out there at you and they want to know if it's working, they might say, "Oh, how did you sleep last night? Oh, how have your dreams been? Oh, really? How are you and your man doing? Anyways, just wondering, and they might just slip some questions in. And if it starts to make you feel uncomfortable, or it's out of the norm, or just what, if you'll feel it, start to pay attention to that. It's known as feedback. And sometimes we look for that when we want to know what someone else has going on. And if what they've thrown at you is working, be careful with your personal information as you give it out. And they can also be looking for other things as well as other entries on how to attack. Okay, so let's think about that. Get rid of anything that the person gave you. If you guys were friends, and they went ahead and gave you gifts and da da da, and this friendship is pretty much over, because it's not a friendship if they're attacking you, right? Especially if they know they're attacking you. Um, get rid of this stuff, because that's just another way that they can spy on you. It's another portal. It's another access to your space, to your place, to where you sleep at night. Get rid of this stuff. Don't keep it. There's no reason to. So, that's another thing. Talk to the spirits that you deal with so they can protect you, and so that they can know who to let into your space and who not to let into your space, right? Talk to your protectors, your guardians around the house. Talk to your ancestors, your guides. Talk to all of them, angels, whatever you believe in. Let them know, like, here's the deal. Here's what's happening. I believe it's so and so. They're not allowed to come in. Their spirit's not allowed to come in. Any energy um, I just lost the term. It'll come to me in a minute. But any energy signature that is associated with them, hear what I'm saying, close to them, or that could be masked, do not let in, right? Um, we have those that might have alternate, I'm trying to word this, um, alternate energies or other versions of themselves. We just had this conversation the other day. Uh, Attack you, okay? Uh, we could have shapeshifters. So any energy signature that might be familiar and not familiar, let your spirits know they can't come in. Uh-uh. Okay? That's important. I could really dive into each one of these. I'm just trying to give you guys some really quick bullets. And if there's something more you want me to dive into, just comment below so I'll make another one and just kind of go a little deeper into it. Okay. I already did the set wards on your house with certain permissions. And so that's important. Pay attention to your dreams. Okay. Pay attention to your dreams. If you see shadows in your dreams, like whether it's shadow people or shadows and they're in the corners of your dreams, which is someone standing off in the corner and they're staring at you in your dream, you're probably being spied on, right? You're probably being set up for a psychic attack. You have to get rid of that. You have to lock down and then open back up again, but you have to find out where that came from. One time I went into this store. I don't think I've told this story before. I went into like a metaphysical store. It had incense and crystals and all that other stuff. And I went in there. I may have told this story before. And I went in there and I was looking around. My back was turned to the register. It was the owner that was back there. And but I was looking at something on the shelves and I heard the word psychic attack in my head. And I turned around and the lady was staring at me, like almost making a hole through my head kind of thing. And I said, okay, so I love it. I love this shit, right? I love this stuff. This is why I go around to all of them. Like, I just, I'm like, I have this thing inside of me that's like, try me. Come on. I got something for you. Try me. So I kind of have that kind of spirit in me sometimes. I get like that. And so I turned around and I saw her. So I was, I love it. So I went to the counter, I got rung up and da 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 da, and I'm smiling and I'm just being real nice and have a wonderful day, talk to you later, have a nice day. And I left and went home. And then that night when I went to sleep, I saw her as a witch in the corner of one of my dreams. So she piggybacked, she basically followed me home. And when those things happen, I don't know how other people handle this. I've never looked this up. I don't know what people, but when I'm approached by a witch or a spirit or an entity that doesn't mean any good for me, or I don't know you and you've been invasive, I literally fly. Like, I just go right into them. Like, I don't explain it. I just go through them. And that's what happened in the dream. And of course, that just took care of it. So that was the end of it. But it's pretty much just like, I don't waste time. As soon as I see it, deal with it, right? Deal with it. Get rid of it. Go. So I attacked it and that was it. And never had that issue again. Of course, I went back in again. And 'cause I'm just such a little sometimes. So I went in there again and nothing happened. It was cool. Just got a couple things and left. So all that said, anyways, I think I got off point a little bit. Pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to what's in there. That'll tell you a lot about what's going on and who's in there, what they want. Usually it's just to spy on you. Usually it's not for any harm. They just are curious on what you're doing. They want to know what you're doing. How is she meditating? What does she use? What spirits are around her, right? They're just trying to find out more about the methods you use. I was even told um, a couple times not to be specific on here on YouTube, like not to be specific with my videos, to be more on the top surface, on the top level, because a lot of people will charge for this information, right? They'll charge you for it. But I think it's important because I think some people can use this info. I'm really not all about the charging. You know, I have my clients and I'm okay with what I have, and I'm treated really well. So, you know, if someone wanted to bless me and shoot me something, you know, send me something, that's great. But I want to give this information out for people who can use it. Um, Anyways, okay, keep your attitude and your spirits high. Okay, remember, if you're depressed, if you're down, if you're tired, if you're worn out, that brings your defenses down. Now, I know we can't always be 100%, but try to keep try to keep your spirits up. And it's not always that easy. We have a lot going on, especially right now, which is why there's so much going on in the world because of all the types of energies, the emotions that are going on, the fear, the anxiety, the everything. There's a lot happening right now. So there are a lot of spirits taking advantage of this moment. And there's other things that are even behind the scenes that are going on. People are talking about a lot of things going on, even setting up for I can't say the words on here. I guess I heard about them flagging different things, but about a new type of government being ushered in, you know. And I've heard this since I was a little kid, but maybe I'll do a video on that. It kind of borderlines conspiracies, but anyways, let me know if you want to hear about it. It's quite interesting. Okay, so anyways, keep your attitude up, keep your vibrational field strong. That's important to do. Use everything that's at your fingertips. Use everything. Like I said, layer it, right? I layer it. Um, and I don't put up with a lot of bullshit. So if there is a lot of BS in your life, a lot of drama in your life, a lot of people talking in your ear and all that nonsense, cut that out. Cut it out. There's no way you can keep up with all of that. Keep your spiritual self strong, right? Meditate, try to stay positive when the news is on 24/7. Sometimes it's a little too much. You have to use everything that's at your in your toolkit. So when I say that, I mean everything. Use your ancestors, your spirits, um, use uh, everything. If you believe in mythological creatures, dragons and things like that, you can use them to guard your house, right? I had a friend of mine, a neighbor of mine at the time, and she said that. She said, "Do you know there are dragons on your roof?" She was a witch. I think she was part of a coven. And yeah, I do. You know, yeah, you have dragons on your roof. Yeah, they protect me, they watch out for me, you know. And she was telling me the different colors they are, and of course, you know, each one has a different purpose and things like that. So yeah, of course, use everything that's at your fingertips. Use I use from your ancestors to your angels to your guardians, whether it's Native American spirits, your African spirits, if you're your past lives. I dig into everything and try not to leave anything out. If I had a connection with druids, right, in a past life, guess what? Right? I'm going to use it. I use my plants and the trees. They're so wonderful. The animals are wonderful. They are so awesome, and each one has their own distinct power. Each one has their own distinct um, gifts that they're willing to share with you. Use the elements, each of the elements, water and air and fire, right? Earth. They're all so powerful. If you use all of these things and you're layering, they'd have to be a fool to attack you. They'd have to be a fool. Most of us give people access to ourselves, and that's what it is. It's not that we're not strong enough, but we just give access to people. You will find once you shut the access off, that's it. Use skulls. I have my animal skulls. I have plenty more. Bear, mountain lion, boar. I have skulls, bones all over my place. One time I was meditating, and there was this witch that came, for lack of a better word, that came into my meditation, and she just wanted to know what I was doing, but it wasn't just that, she had an animal on one side, and she had another. They were like dogs, kind of like dogs that came with her, and I had my animals on either side of me, and before hers could barely get a run going, mine on either side went forward in front of me and protected me and completely destroyed hers. And she backed up, she backed the hell up and got away. Use your animals. They're amazing. I can't say enough about the animal world. I have videos on here if you want to check them out about animals. But use all of your allies. I have my human skulls, right? Use the dead if that's your thing. I use the dead. They're pretty cool. They're pretty awesome. I never thought I would be involved with them because I started out, if you look at my past videos, with the demons, and I didn't really want to work with the dead. I was so comfortable with the demons, believe it or not, because that's what I was used to since I was a little girl, was the demons. And then eventually, once that kind of slowed down and I started realizing I was having a lot of the dead come to me, I became comfortable with seeing them next to me, seeing them when I wake up, them talking to me or smelling their scent. You can use those as well. So use everything. And then last but not least, because this video went longer than this is probably one of my longest videos, would be crystals and stones, right? Use those. You can use talismans as well, and amulets, right? You can use some of those as well. And again, I can go on each bullet another 10, 15, 30 minutes. Use stones that are used for protection. Wear stones, put them in your pocket, crystals, have them around your house, have them guarding even your cards if you read cards. And you can also use, like I have my cards here. If you do readings, I have my cards here. And I have my turtle. Like, you can have your little animals on here. I have my snake, my little snake. And you can have them where they're where they guard and watch over your things. So you can use animals as well in that form or sense. And then I have my other stones here that I use for protection. So you can use those as well. Use your black candles when you meditate. Protection. There's so much to talk to you about, right? But when you implement all of this together, and when you walk the life and you live the life, then you'll see how it's so layered that it's hard to penetrate, right? It's hard to penetrate. So I use my Native American stuff. I use my African stuff, right? I just go down the line and list, and And I use my other Indian side, right? I use my East Indian stuff. I use uh, and go look at, talk to the different spirits and the weapons each god possibly had and has, and you can use those as well. There, it's endless. It really is endless. Now I'm not even going off my list. I'm just going off the top of my head. You can just go on and on about, or I can just go on and on about um, protection and how to shut down somebody. So, anyways, I've talked long enough. I wanted to give you guys some advice, throw some things out there for you so you can kind of have an idea about mm, about different ways to protect yourself and to not allow somebody access to you. If you don't want someone to have access to you, they won't have access to you. And if you lock it down to the point where it's secure, and then open it back up slowly and use your allies around you, you'll be fine. But then at least you can eliminate what the enemy, what the person, what the problem was, and you can go on. Because remember, the spiritual, they say as above, so below, the spiritual will affect the physical. And if someone's effing with you and the spiritual, it will affect the physical. And you will start seeing signs and things start going wrong. And you're like, what's going on? It's like your luck has all of a sudden changed. And that could be what's going on. Somebody has an in. So if you have suspicions, if you have, and you know what, you can do another test. This happens often where someone will ask for my help and they'll send me pictures of people, of a family or whatever. You can sometimes even pick it up on off of pictures on who it is that is most likely attacking that person. You can sometimes pick up the energy off of this. You can try that too. Try that test and show some people pictures that you think might be able to tell who's screwing with you. Okay, I've talked long enough. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please leave comments below if you have had any experiences with this, whether you are on either side. If you have any other comments about locking down to avoid being spiritually attacked, or if you have any questions and want me to expound on anything else, just go ahead and leave it in the comments section below. Oh, I just said that and my candle just went out. As I said that, if you guys had, it went out by itself. When I said if you guys have anything else to add, so I'm guessing somebody has something to add because it just blew out by itself and there's plenty more for it to go. So, interesting. Now I'm curious on what you guys are going to leave me as a message. I like that. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good evening, a good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. Thanks again for supporting me, for listening, for liking, and for subscribing. And I thank you, my current subscribers, for sticking in there with me. And keep learning. We're learning together. See you guys next time. Bye.